All right, we're going to wrap up things this afternoon. They're actually not from Etowah County, but they're not far from Etowah County. The Asheville Bulldogs and Coach Shay Monroe. Coach, I think this is your second year,
Yes, sir.
starting your second year
Yes, sir.
at Asheville. Would you introduce the two guys that are with you today and give us an outlook on the season?
Yes, sir. To my right is Cole Hyde. He's a senior, starting inside linebacker. He's going to dabble in the running back position. To my left is Dylan Harris. He's our starting quarterback and he's starting free safety. He's a 4-year starter. I think I'm going to say something that I don't know that people in Asheville have heard these words a lot when it comes to football lately, but we've got expectations, and that's a great thing to have. The only pressure we're going to put on ourselves is what we put ourselves. I feel good about our team. How good? I guess we'll find out August 20th. But I feel it's a veteran team. We only lost 6 seniors, 6 really good seniors. They're going to be hard to replace, but I feel really good about the team we have coming back.
Hey, Coach, it's good to see you again, my
You too,
friend.
Bo.
The mustache is top notch. Man, that's
Appreciate it.
fantastic. Coach, I want to talk about something before we dive into this season, man. You've put together a staff, man, that's unbelievable, incredible people outside of their coaching skills. I'm talking about guys. I mean, there are some characters on there, don't get me wrong, but man, that staff in general, and I don't know how you got. It's like you assembled a super team of guys to come on board with you guys to help with your vision of what you see Asheville being in the future. Talk about that staff, if you don't mind.
Well, they're the thing that kind of makes the engine go. If you come to our practice, honestly, and these guys will tell you, man, like I'm doing very little football. I'm doing a lot of administrative stuff that, quite frankly, is the worst part about being a head coach, because all of us just want to coach. But man, our staff is fantastic. They do such a good job with our kids. The best compliment I can give them is they're just great mentors. They're people that, if my son was playing ball, I'd want them to play for, just because of the things they stand for.
Coach, last year it was the first non-losing season in Asheville in 15 years. That was huge. And these two guys next year had a big part in accomplishing that. Talk about what a good, important stepping stone last year was to build on for the future.
It was, I think the biggest thing to take away from last year was, the way we started the season. After the first 5 games, we were 1-4, and these guys just kept fighting through. It's a really good group of kids.
All right, Coach, Asheville is one of the tougher teams Etowah played last year. Talk about the maturation process. Year over year, you're getting your feet in, a great staff, as Bo was talking about. And now that I think your players are expecting to win. Talk about that a little bit.
And I contribute that to them. My biggest, the thing I try to do the most is I try and be positive. I try to give our kids confidence and just try to help them believe that they can do things, because I see it in them. We talked about it this morning. I hope that they see what our staff sees, and just know that we can, hopefully compete with everybody we play.
All right, Coach. Good to see you again.
You too,
as
Rich.
well. I'm not sure if I recognize the guy sitting beside you.
Yeah, no, he's got a little different haircut.
Coach, we've spent a lot of time with you and your team, and this question is really for the guys. There's a lot of excitement in Asheville right now surrounding the football team. How does that make you guys feel? And I think everybody can see that things are turning for the better in Asheville. How does it make you feel to having the community getting excited about you guys?
It feels great knowing that the whole community is behind us. It really does feel good.
Like he said, it's great to have a community behind you that supports you, because coming into high school, like freshman and sophomore year, there wasn't really that much support because we hadn't done anything the past 15 years. But coming off of a halfway decent season last year, you feel like you have more support from your community.
Coach, something that I've noticed is really important and vital to what you're doing out there is your upgrade in facilities. I've personally been inboxed, I think, 15 or 20 times once I put down your kind of like your Hall of Fame wall wrap that you had, your hallway. But not just that. I mean, your main locker room, then you have your coach's office has changed. Now you have stadium seating in your film room. You have new racks. You have new painted facility in your weight room. Talk about those upgrades and how vital that is to this program.
Well, the Wall of Fame, Nick Wilson was in charge of that. He did a fantastic job. Nick does a great job helping promote our program. You know, it was time for those things. You know, I tell our kids all the time, and I'll be honest with you, I think one of the biggest problems at Asheville for the longest time was our kids thought they were second best. They're not second best. You know, they deserve everything they get. You know, we work the piss out of them. Excuse my language, okay? But we get after them pretty good. We demand a lot out of our kids. You know what? So it's nice to see them get rewarded for the work they put in.
Coach, you mentioned earlier that you lost 6 seniors. Talk about your squad size. How many starters you have coming back? How many seniors on this team? Could you give us that information?
Yeah, we have 10 seniors this year, returning on both sides of the ball. We have 8 starters back on offense, 8 starters back on defense. So, like I said, we're a very veteran team. Last year we started 15 sophomores between offense and defense. So last year we were a young football team. So, obviously the region we're in is a very good region. So we know every week it's going to be a battle.
Coach, you mentioned just having expectations in Asheville, something that you said might not have been said in a while. When did you notice that the players just kind of change that mindset and, buy into what you guys are doing?
I think it was just every day they came to practice. They never lost enthusiasm for what they were doing. I've personally been with this senior class for 4 years. So I've been with them since they were freshmen in some capacity or another. They never, even when we were 1-4, they never lost that enthusiasm for coming to practice, getting in the weight room, for having a good time playing football. At the end of the day, this is a game. This is high school sports, and I think sometimes we lose sight of that because a lot of times pressure is put on these kids and as coaches. Man, you can ask anybody that's come to our practice. Man, I'm 100 miles an hour from the time I hit my feet hit the floor in the morning because I love what I do. I love where I do it, and that's something that I think our kids really do enjoy playing football at Asheville High School right now.
This question's for Cole and Dylan both. From the outside looking in, people who haven't seen you guys work out, which Coach just mentioned, there's a saying: the more you bleed at practice, the more you sweat at practice, the less you bleed in more. Talk about those summer workouts and practice in general, how difficult they are, but tell in that with how it helps you out on the actual field.
This year we got a new strength program. We got a new coach in the weight room. So I would say by far this has been the most brutal workout I have been a part of for Asheville High School, but it's probably been the most efficient. So.
Like he said, in my 4 years working out in high school, this is absolutely second to none of any of the workouts that I've ever done. It's the hardest one I've ever been a part of.
This question also for the players. I've asked all the players, I guess it's come through today. You're the 11th school we talked with. Coach picked you guys to come to represent your football team, to represent your school. Talk about how special that is. I guess both of you are seniors. I don't know, Coach, if they're both seniors,
Yes,
but
sir.
here in your senior season, in all these expectations we've talked about, how important is that to you?
I'm very blessed to be here today. I believe that Coach thought that we had led by example, and I feel like that's the reason he chose us.
It's a huge honor knowing that Coach Monroe looks at both of us as leaders on the team, and just that we lead our team.
Coach, as I look over my notes, I think it was maybe 2005 or 6 the last time that Asheville made the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
I believe I'm right. 5-5 last year. That was a great first year. Is that the next step for this football team?
That's our expectations. That's what I told our kids. Our expectations this year to play more than 10 games. And if that wasn't our team's expectations, then we might as well just hang it up now. You know, because I felt like we had the team capable of doing it. Now, whether we'll reach that or not, that's meant to be unseen. You know, there's a lot of work that goes into these things. There's a lot of things that they got to happen. You know, we got to stay healthy. That's the biggest thing is we got to stay healthy, and we got to go out there and we got to compete every day. You know, I know that sounds cliche. I know it sounds like coach talk, but look, I'll just tell you this: we're not the most athletic team. I can promise you. You know, what we do offensively, like there's no secret. We're going to we're going to dance with the girl that got us to the prom, and you know, we're going to run single wing on offense. You know, call it what you want: fist fight in a phone booth, death by 1,000 paper cuts. I don't really care, but you know, it fits our kids, and you know, so I mean, we're going to be who we're going to be, and just rely on hard work and toughness. Hopefully, it'll get us to that next step.
Anybody else with a question? All right, Coach, I think that's going to wrap us up today.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank
Hammer
you.
down.
Good luck to the Bulldogs this year.